Yeah, let me just jump to the anime stuff or the manga stuff, I should say, one
Sure.
time.
Right.
Take it away, Bernie Witch. Let's start with that.
Right. So the reason I decided to pick Bernie Wish is that this is the new series of one of my favorite, if probably not my favorite, living mangakas, a man by the name of Kubo Taito, the creator of Bleach.
Yes. Bleach, yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
right. And so this is why
So that's
he
what he's
basically
been up to.
right. So
Okay.
he decided to do this new series. And it's effectively, well, what makes things a little more interesting is that it's in the same universe as Bleach, as a kind of a spin-off series,
Oh wow,
sequelish
okay.
series, and it's something, right? So it's instead of in Japan in Karakura Town with Ichigo and the gang, it's effectively in London. This thing, and it's a whole system of it's the same system of like Kido and magic and in the world, except it's from the perspective of well people living in London, and they effectively figure out their system of magic and whatnot. And that's the entire premise of it. It's a bunch of new creatures, a bunch of new characters, everything started from scratch. It's but the thing is they're calling themselves Soul Society West, which is interesting.
Huh. Okay,
Right.
okay.
And what you have is London and something called London, which is the normal London as we understand it, and then reverse London. And so it
Hmm.
started off as basically what we were watching as the anime. The anime is basically the animated version of the four chapter serialization in the manga, with these three, basically they just kind of animate these things. And the main characters, is a kind of company magic people, and they're kind of cool and interesting. And what it is it's basically Soul Society, the Western branch of Soul Society, as they say, right? So they call themselves Reverse London, which is like a different world, almost like a kind of alternate spirit world, part of London. And the main characters is Noel and Nini. They're the kind of the two main new characters. They're the effectively the witches of the world. They work for the company which is called Wingbind, and it's not bad as it is. It's a mix between magical girl stuff. Um, it's about 12 years after the events of the final arc of Bleach. Um, that's the idea. It's Kubo resetting, but not really resetting. And if you look at the title of Burn the Witch, if you were to watch the title, it's if you notice what letters are highlighted in white and red, you notice it spells out Bleach, right? So it's clearly meant
Oh,
to
that's dope. That is dope. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of clever, right? And then it's the first episode was just setting up, these new creatures, these dragons, because dragons are the big thing. So it's no longer hollows anymore because like hollows was seen to be explicitly a Japanese thing. In this, it's dragons, witches, and wizards, and then you have, the human world, front London, and then reverse side of London or reverse London, and they just kind of control dragons in the world. That's the idea, right? And they have to travel between these two things through these two worlds, similar to Bleach, where you can move from Soul Society to the human world. Um, and that's it. It's just a simple, a bunch of new characters. It's Kubutite's, specific art style. And I just kind of wanted to highlight it as a little quick mention. Nothing too in deep depth to talk about per se, because it's only 3 episodes so far. And hopefully we'll get a season 2 coming soon. So I just want to hype that. Yeah, Kubutite is back. The anime for Bleach
Yeah.
is coming.
That's great. But sorry to cut you there, but is it an ongoing series right now, or we just got
Right.
this
So
like what 3 4 episodes?
yeah, we didn't get 3 episodes to start with, so as it is. So I say a season 2 coming soon, because this is like a kind of first season one. That's the idea, just to build the world up. We had a few cool moments. A character one shot a monster with a finger blast, which is pretty badass.
Uh,
A lot of characters pretty simple and similar to characters we already know from Bleach. Like Nini is kind of like Rukia a little bit.
yeah, I was thinking about Rukia with that
Right,
finger blasting kind of.
right. Nini and Noel is a little bit like Ichigo, a little bit. It's interesting. It has a good sense of scale and art style. The world building is interesting. Well, for me, it's not as interesting as Bleach, because to me, Japanese culture is a lot more distant than say British culture, because well, we grew up in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So it's not that. um, interesting to me in that sense from a creative standpoint. But it still works, right? And I can imagine it makes sense in that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
All right.
That's
Well, for me, I was picking up bits of Harry Potter. You know what I mean? So
right, right,
maybe
yeah.
this will be like his take on the Harry Potter franchise. Like you will
Well,
see the first half of, or I
right,
should say, the stuff that happened in London. And not in Hogwarts. If you
right,
catch my
right.
drift. Yeah.
Well, it's not right. So it's not a school. It's more like a company, and they have a bunch of like little sectors and systems in it. But yeah, you could say there's a lot of Harry Potter in there because Harry Potter is so quintessentially British. Because of that. So I don't know. So it's that. But yeah, a comparison to Harry Potter is not the worst take. I would argue.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned before, it's not the worst take to compare it to Harry Potter. I'll say is that. So that's that.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right. Well, well, honestly, I haven't really looked at any anime, like real anime, for the years. So
Right.
I mean, we only have like about what 2.5 months again. So I'm now trying to play
Right.
catch up on like all the best stuff that came out. So as I mentioned, Bunny Witch, I'll give it a look. See, man, maybe
Right.
I should enjoy it. I should enjoy it, right?
Right.
Please tell me it's the same thing with Lupin III, the first, if you don't mind.
Um. Actually, it's well, we're going to talk about something that I thought was just one of the probably a really, really fantastic production for this year. So I mentioned Kubo Tite is my favorite living mangaka. That is because the person who was my favorite living mangaka has passed last year. That is Monkey Punch, the creator of Lupin III.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
he died right before the Japanese release of this new film, Lupin III, the first. Um, I'll talk about this now. I really enjoyed this. I didn't think this was as a good as would have been as good as it was.
Nice.
Uh,
Nice. Nice.
Basically, it's reminiscent of. It's very similar to the Steven Spielberg 3D Tintin that came out around 10 years ago.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I love that. That was actually my
Right.
first
Yeah.
IMAX experience. I'll never
Yeah. Yeah.
forget that. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I was picking up on it from the first time I saw when I saw the first trailer. I was like, yeah, this is like some
Yeah.
Adventures of Tintin kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you have a classic comic, a classic story. Lupin III is pretty old. Lupin III is very 1960s stuff. It's
Yeah,
built through
roughly.
the
And
60s.
I believe the
Um,
anime was like in the 70s.
right.
Funny thing is, in terms of anime, like the only one I saw, admittedly, was Castle of Cagliostro.
Right.
If I got the
Uh,
name wrong, forgive me. But yeah, that was like
right.
the only anime that Lupin anime that I saw. Though I love
Right.
that movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a super long running franchise. It's influence, most like it's direct influence to a lot of stuff we like. Well, Cowboy Bebop. Because
Yes, yes, yes,
Cowboy
yes. In
Bebop
terms
is
of the
basically
style and
yeah,
the
all the
character himself.
jazz. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, jazz
all
music
the
too.
characters and archetypes. The style of it, all the jazz. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is basically Space Lupin, right? I mean, that's pretty much
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
effectively. Anyway, what the show is about. So what Lupin the first is it's just a nice independent story, and they get into just this cool story about the story starts in a really dark space where this couple and their baby is visiting an old man, and the old man gives them a book and tell them be careful and run away. And then this is the opening of the film, and then they run out, they try to get away, and then somebody chases them down. And then you find out that a bunch of soldiers come to the old man's house and basically kills him. And you find out is Nazis in France during the occupation of World War II. And what they run away from is some hidden thing inside um, the the inside the book itself. Something he hide in the book. So you're wondering what it is about. And when so the guy and the children, the people who was running away, the couple and their baby, the car crashes, and then the guy comes and steals some like a device from the baby that the baby was holding. And then they jump about how much time, boy? About 16 years later, in the mid 60s, and Lupe, the characters they want to steal, well, effectively the same book, because they didn't find the book since then. It was just a device, the key for the book apparently. And what you learn now is Lupin wanted to steal the book, but then this character, this woman, she also wants to steal the book. And you're wondering what's going on with Lupin. Lupin tried to steal because he's a master thief. And you find out that the book is, well, if you want to get into spoilers, we'll try to avoid that. But the basically the book is at like some type of hidden, like a mapped out hidden treasure. And it's very Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade type thing.
Okay. I see.
Right. That is basically what's going on. And it's involving the Third Reich and a lot of like mystical stuff they're searching for. So the guy who hid the book, who created this system for the book, is a guy called Bresson, right? Professor Bresson. He was working for, and he wanted a bunch of Nazis who was working for Anabre. Anabre is, well, I don't know if I really mispronounced it, Anabre or whatever it is, or Anabre or something like that. And basically, it's a Nazi think tank back in the thing that was started by Hitler. It's a real group. So they were searching for stuff, searching for all these mystical items or whatever it is. And the person who's the baby is the same person as Letitia. She's the main character. She now basically is the her grandfather gets her to steal the book for her. And then they do a big plot reveal with her, and it connected to Lupin, and it connected to thing, and then they find out what it is they was looking for. And there's a lot of Akkadian in it, if you know what that is. That is the old language of the past. One of the old languages that is the Babylonian.
Yes,
They do a lot of that. And it's very that. It's a lot of ancient technology stuff being revealed, and the Nazis want ancient tech and ancient power to tap into, and you find out Lupin connected to the book in a certain way because of this, that, and the other, and they had to solve a problem. And that's it. It's just a nice, straightforward story, and it's just Lupin being really tricky and subversive as usual, and one of my favorite anime characters from simply because of that. And I thought this was great. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
actually.
just off that story alone, I know I'm gonna enjoy it
Yeah,
a lot.
and Lupin the Third really works. For for what it is. Arsene Lupin is one of the best characters in history. His name always had this cool little pun to it because his name is Lupin III, which is a double meaning in Japanese. You have the word san, and the word san could mean san as in tree, the third, or san as in Mister, as in the honorific san, right?
Right. Yes,
Right.
that's
So
right.
that's kind of the little double entendre, double play, word play with his name now. So when they call him Lupin San, he's either Lupin the Third or Mr. Lupin, right? So a nice
Yes.
little play on words and thing. And then it's this master thief. It have the whole gang, Jigen, the marksman, Goemon. He's the samurai with this insane overpowered sword. And then of
Yeah.
course
One of my favorite
my favorite,
characters in that
yeah, and then one of my yeah, and then one of my classic internet, anime waifus, of course, Fujiko Mini. The real shine of this is the animation and the art style. Oh my gosh, this thing looks absolutely gorgeous. Like gorgeous and in a lot of depth, nice fluid animation. Um it just looks great,
Yeah.
beautiful animation,
I
beautiful
don't know,
face.
while I was watching it for a sec, sorry to cut you there. Like I was telling myself, if there was ever like a video game for this film, or the franchise to come out for the PS5 or the Xbox or whatever,
Yeah,
yeah,
it look like
this should be how it look. This should be
yeah,
how it looks
exactly.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they really hit it out of the park in terms of just everything across the board, from textures to details. I mean, just little things like dust, and they get everything right in terms of like just all the details of it.
hmm
So because of that, Rona, I was supposed to see this much earlier this year, because I watched the Japanese version with the dub. Uh,
Okay.
I was supposed to see this a lot earlier this year, but that Rona slowed everything down and kind of messed that up. So I had to see this a lot later. I was supposed to review this months ago, whatever. Um, and I just enjoyed it. Everybody was there, Inspector Zenigata, great character, really funny side character. He was part of the story as well, and he was helping out Lupin for the sake of this. But the villain was good. It had Gerard, right?
Uh-huh.
He was a great villain. I felt good voice acting. Um, it was just truly fantastic. I really ranked this quite high. Great story and back and forth between Lupin and Letitia. She's a new kind of female character. She's a good little nice character, and her arc is very strong. when you find out who she's about and the truth behind her. It's great. It's kind of obvious. I'll put it in the same camp of in terms of like detective stuff and trying to figure out the mystery. It's on the same level as Enola Holmes, right?
Ah,
Just
okay, okay.
it's perfect for a younger crowd. It's great for a younger crowd. It again, it has that same problem of trying to cater to, you have an very old franchise trying to cater to a younger crowd, and if they'll appreciate it or not, you're not sure. Similar to Tintin, right? Tintin is, how many people remember Tintin of vaguely? I only know about Tintin because my cousin had a couple of the books and I had a good few of the books myself. So whatever. But it's I thought it was excellent. It's really, really brilliant. I mean, I want to see other shows do this, like, bring back Speed Racer, in in this format. Bring back Astro Boy, bring back, what do you call it, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai X. I don't mind seeing Samurai X in this 3D format. This
Yeah, I think
3D
I
format
know
is
we
good.
should have a new we should have a new animated Samurai X
Or
feature film
whatever.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. Like, I love 2D stuff. I ain't saying no, but I find this 3D stuff was so good, and it's a kind of a waste that we're not getting more on this. And look, I could get into a big rant about why all animated shows can look like this, right? It's I mean, not the most expensive thing, but it's relatively expensive for those who want to do it on animation studios, right? A lot of animation studios and 3D studios suffer, right? Even
Mhm.
before Corona, even before that, it was always a kind of big issue for them not making the money back. You have companies that do successful projects and still get folded. But this was so brilliant. And it's a shame that, unless your daddy owned Nike, very rarely a company could hold out, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's a shame. But I really want to see more, classic anime being remade in this way, in this format. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, by the way, this movie gets like a 9 out of 10 for me. It was like really good.
Nice.
I
All
didn't
right.
expect it. Right? It's a simple story. Didn't get too insane. It's basically an Indiana Jones story with a little more of a sci-fi flair to it. It's straightforward. It's for kids. It's not meant to blow my mind. Jaded millennial like me. It's not meant for that. It's just, if you're a 14, 15-year-old person, you should really, really enjoy this. It's with kids. It's for a younger person, younger audience. It's funny. It's clever. The dialogue was good. Characterization I thought was good. Everybody bounced off each other really well. They gave a purpose to everybody in the storyline as usual, and it felt like a classic Lupin story. It felt great. Because that's the
Mm.
thing with Lupin, it is always start off there's always a heist and some scheme, and then it'll just ramp up because they uncover something that's way more insidious, and they have to be the kind of chaotic good heroes of the storyline, even though all of them is
Right.
criminals. Right? Great
Yeah.
characterization. Yeah. Uh, and I really, really thoroughly love this. So yeah, I strongly recommend this. Probably might get best of the year for me, in fact. Right?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
might see.
Yeah. No,
We'll see.
in a year like this, we need a couple of animated
Yeah,
films to be
we need content.
in
Yeah,
our best of list, man. I
right,
mean, no gosh,
right,
man. Especially anime, you know what I mean? So,
right.
yeah, I am definitely gonna check this out, though. Just offer your review alone, and
Yeah,
who knows, it may make it to my top 10 list as well.
right.
All right, so now that we get the anime stuff out of the way, Ricardo, I have you on the spot there right now. So before you get into Star Trek Discovery, um, thoughts on Batman: Death in the Family? Like, have you checked out the movie?
Um,
What do you think about the arcs and where the story went and what it
yeah,
reminded you of and stuff?
this wasn't bad for me. I didn't love it, but it was still pretty good. I just ran through most of the things. Uh, it's because they basically change a lot of the things. It only have like really two major things that work really well for me. The one and
Well,
endings.
we could spoil it though because I mean I
Right.
did the spoiler
Okay.
free last week,
No
so
problem.
yeah,
All right.
spoiler
So
away, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So it have right. So the first out of the first three endings, so it have the kind of the classic one, classic answer. We get to that. The second one I thought was okay. I didn't love it, but the one I liked is when, uh, well, Damien, we call him, take care of Damien. What's she name?
Oh, Jason take care of Damian.
Yeah. I like that. I thought that was good. That was interesting.
That was the one I was kind of iffy about because the
Right.
like I know where I have a sense of where they wanted the story to go,
Right.
but I was just disappointed that it just stops at that point. It doesn't go
Right.
any food. It
But I
just
think, I
stops
mean,
there.
I don't know if they cannot go any further, really, because it's like, well, we're going to wait till Damien grow up. I mean, yeah, just like, I don't know what they would do with that, frankly, going forward.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah.
Right. The other one that was okay for me too was when Joker gives up his career. I like that.
Yes. Or and you met
That
in the
was
restaurant.
in the restaurant, right? In the
Yeah.
diner, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty
The
cool.
designer. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the convenience of him bringing up the same story that he
From
said,
right.
for the end of the Killing Joke. I
Yeah,
was like, ah,
you're
okay,
right.
okay,
Right.
I see
Yeah,
what
it's the
you're
same.
doing
It's the
there.
same. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same. Right.
and he
So
just couldn't help himself. He just
that wasn't
has
bad.
to go off.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. All right. That the one with the last piece where you find out who Bruce was talking to, the Superman. That's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, that was the one that I was also disappointed by because
right,
that's the one where I felt like he was the actor playing Batman was just running through with a whole bunch of narration, just moving quick, 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 quick,
right,
quick.
right.
This just kind of ends like, okay, and
Yeah.
move on now. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to feel about this overall. Well, the last one I thought was okay. That last piece where, well, you find out that Bruce they use the thing on Bruce. They
yeah,
use
the
the
Lazarus
Lazarus
pit on
pit.
it. Yeah,
Right, and he comes back, so it had two versions. One version didn't make much sense to me, where the death version, where it had what, a bomb. So why would Talia have a bomb on Bruce? I didn't follow that. Um,
yeah.
I didn't.
Although I felt like the last few seconds was just like shock value. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
dead, they're all charred.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the
I didn't really, but I didn't get the logic of why they had a like what Talia had a bomb on him, but what Bruce decided to have a bomb to kill all of them. I couldn't follow. What was that situation exactly? Then the
Yeah,
second
but
one,
the life choice was great, however, though I must
right?
say,
Life
especially
choice, right?
when they
Life choice is
reveal what
right.
Bruce was seeing all along.
Right, exactly. He was mentioned right. So it's what the father was saying.
Yeah,
That
it's very sorry to cut it. It's very Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Hold the door, hold the door.
right,
It's
right, right.
that, but
It's that. It's clear that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, overall, it was okay for me. I mean, none of the branches was that mind blowing. It was just good. But
Oh,
it
I take it you didn't enjoy the Two-Face one.
that was okay because it had one the version with Tim Drake, where he becomes Bat-Kid. That's all right.
Yeah.
At the end, the other
But
version is
although which is cool, but them ears, yo, them
yeah,
ears.
whatever. It's a kid.
What's
Yeah.
up with what's up with Bad Kids ears, yo?
Yeah, he's a bad kid, whatever.
Hmm.
And then the other version was okay too, where he kind of regret the whole thing, and okay, not bad.
Yeah.
It's all about just kind of, it's a lot of it is just exploring Jason, and kind of show that almost every version of Jason will go down a dark path. No?
Yeah.
But I like that kind of because some of the versions I really liked, other versions I didn't care for. The one version I thought was kind of dumb. This is when he had the chance to arrest Joker or kill Joker, and then you find out Jason really killed all these people that he tried to spare. I hated that. That's the back. I
Yeah. I
find out
was
it's
like,
dumb. I hate it.
what?
Totally hate it. Yeah, whatever.
And it's the whole cliche, oh, it was you all along.
Right.
split personality and all that shit. It's like, what? What?
That nonsense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you're trying to be you're not conscious. Whatever.
Yeah,
I hate
although we did get some sweet kills in terms of
right. The
Black
glass.
Mask and his crew.
The glass.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
Black Mask death alone was like, oh
But
shit.
Black Mass has Black Mass has three different deaths and all are good. The one with the door,
Yes.
the one with the door, the one with the glass, all the panes are glasses slides. So I was like, wow, how thick and sharp this glass is exactly to do that to you. I
I
steal
know,
her.
right?
And then when he falls off the building and into the gas truck is like, jeez,
Mhm.
real brutal. Um yeah, again, here's the thing. It reminds me of a great film, right? And you get the feeling that they some of these things is feel like a make for work program. So they say, all right, well, let us put out what we kind of was going to drop from the script. Some of the ideas I really liked. One of the ideas is very similar to a script idea I had for what Batfleck film should have been if Batfleck got a chance to make a film.
Right.
And it's very similar to that, where it's something to do with Damian Wayne, and I like it. But that's why I really like the Damian Wayne one because, like, yeah,
Okay,
that
not
actually
with
interested.
Jason, right? Because
Well,
they've
no,
been
right,
hinting at Jason's death,
right,
since
no.
like
Well,
what
that's the point. Like the script
BVS,
idea I
right?
had for yeah, no, you're right. Well, in the script idea I had um for if they made a Batfleck movie was basically a mix of Red Hood and Son of Batman, something like that. So it was
Right.
gonna have something where it's implied that Jason possibly trained Damian maybe to turn him against Batman, like something like that. I had an idea, something like that. And Talia coming after Jason because he's the one who steals her son. Like that is the script idea I had. Like it's something like that. I had a general outline that I wrote years ago. Whatever.
Okay.
So I'm glad that it did something involving Jason and Talia. I like the idea that Jason and Talia interact with each other. That kind of cool and interesting.
Hmm.
And I felt they could have done more with it going forward. And you're right. I would have liked to see that. Like if they make that version of the movie, that'll be great. That'll be pretty awesome. Or if they make something like that going forward. I don't know. It's good. I don't love this, but I didn't hate it either. But it's fine. It's actually pretty good for what it is. Some of the counterfactuals were just kind of fell flat, like the one where he just went to jail when he killed Joker. I hated that.
Yeah,
He
to
just,
become
he just
what
went
is
to jail.
jailbird? Yeah.
Right, lame. Hated. Um, most of it was fine. Most of it was like
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it was like
Right.
okay. It's just this general running through the narrative of what Jason Todd's kind of mindset is and how troubled he is. No matter almost every counterfactual, he's a pain in the ass now. And I
Yeah.
like that they handled that reasonably well. And it
Mm.
works. It works for what it is. I can't be mad
Yeah.
at
Yeah. I
saying yet.
mean, yeah. Yeah. It is fine for what it is. It's not
Yeah.
some groundbreaking,
No,
animated
yeah.
film, right? No.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
exactly. Because as
Yeah.
I said, it's feel like one of these make for work movies where they decide, all right, well, we're gonna put out the script. What just get everybody credit on a scripting for what Red Hood was, and then like put out this DVD and they'll make money on that. Like that's what it feel
Hmm.
like. Quite it does feel
Yeah.
like it does feel like a kind of after the fact kind of product. Now. It's like it had so many like they spend a ton of resources and time putting out a product on a movie that come out when Red Hood come out 2008, 9, when that come out? 2011.
About I think it's early 2010s.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like I that's what I was like. So why and they have a ton of footage from Red Hood there, like straight up the
Yeah,
same
I know. I
same.
noticed. Mhm.
Yeah. And I get the feeling that like it like I'm wondering how much new work went into this. I get the feeling that a lot of it is scrapped ideas and scrapped lines. Like they really got back John DiMaggio in the boot for this. You sure? Like I'm wondering now.
Yeah.
Because you're not
Yeah.
sounding any different. Like I'm trying to like nitpick and look for if they do new work on this now. And I don't get the feeling they did at all. It just felt like they just reuse a bunch of old like slides and a bunch of old animation slides or whatever it is, and then stuff that they just cut on and went to the cutting room floor. They just bring back out of the vault and you know you know hodgepodge and cobble this together. But it's still good, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
As we talking about the Batman stuff. Well, sorry,
right
the Batman Superman stuff. Before I
right
forget, in retrospect, though, I wish that we did get the traditional story. Well, they take on the traditional story. That could have
right
been on the digital version. That could have been like the,
right
the the straightforward story, and just have everything else be the options. You know what I mean? So it stays
right
true to the source material, but you still give it leeway to go whatever direction they
right.
want it to go now. You know?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's something I was thinking of something like that. But as I said, I get what they're trying to do with this. They just kind of reminded everyone of like a kick-ass movie because that's what it was. Like they just revisit, you know, one of my favorite animated movies. Like Red Hood is like number two or number one for me on average. So
Hmm.
and it just fluctuates. Like is this better than Master of the Phantasm? And if you tell me Red Hood better than Master of the Phantasm, I ain't gonna fight it down because Red Hood was really freaking awesome. And yeah, just
Yeah,
to
it
rewatch.
was.
I basically like just sit down and rewatch Red Hood, right? So it wasn't bad. I didn't
Mhm.
hate this. I did not listen to the commentary.
Okay,
Because
I didn't
yeah,
neither.
yeah, yeah. I'll make the effort to in the future, but I didn't do it before today, so I should have.
Yeah, I'll make the effort as well too. Well, I
Right,
started off a little bit with the one with ends with Superman.
right.
But it just sounds like they're so pleased by what it is they made. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I'll confess the bit that I heard was them. Well, the two creators or whatnot, the producers, really praising the intro for this film.
right,
The kind of stylized I say animated, right? But it has a stylized intro, which caught me by surprise too. I was
right,
like, all right, well, okay, they do that thing, but they seem to be in love with that. So
right.
I was like, all right, was an intro. Let's get to the
Yeah,
depth. You know what I mean? So
you're right.
yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, so I only I just kind of I didn't watch it. I just skipped. I kind of skimmed through it quick, and I was like, the only part I kind of listened to was when they was talking about the actual when Batman was holding up Jason's body, that part, and like that's the iconic shot in the comic. I'm like, okay, fine.
Right.
That's
Oh,
about it.
before I forget, well, a couple things before you get to
Sure.
your rating, right? So, quick thoughts on this. Well, I don't want to say it's a new intro, but this intro with the comic book store and what I mean, well,
Oh yeah,
specifically DC comic book store and
or
the
the
camera just
showcase.
showcase,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
just
the
lingers
showcase.
in on this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. So
I thought that was cool. I was like, all
yeah,
right,
it's fine. It's fine.
yeah. And
Yeah.
second question, did you take any shorts?
All right, yeah. Those that was with his
Sergeant
boy.
Rock.
So, right, Sergeant Rock. I watched that. That was okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
well,
were
yeah,
they
like
were
I say, Carl Urban,
right.
the man's trying, he's trying, but it's still, you still know it's him. You could still
Yeah,
pick
no,
up on that accent.
yeah, no, I didn't really like. It was okay and fine. Again, another I keep calling these things make for work programs because like nobody like I forget all of these characters. The one story that was okay for me was the final one with Neil Gaiman's The Death Thing.
Yeah, Deadhead.
Um,
Like I said, that was the best one,
that was
just
the best
off
one.
of his
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
right. And then the one with oh god, what's his name? The ghost guy, the guy who liked the
Or
Phantom Stranger.
the Phantom Stranger.
Right.
Yeah, I love the
That was
'60s vibe of it, although the
right. So
story was kind of weak, in my opinion.
right, yeah, he does. So they basically this fella just kill off the Scooby gang,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
right, and then the girl she had a nice little arc. It's like okay, and then it's like it was fine.
Yeah,
It's
and the
fine.
Adam Strange one wanted
Right.
to like it, but
This
uh,
yeah, this could have been better. It's one of these things. All of them just kind of needed punching up. Like you get the feeling that is like first. Like I listen. This is my pure speculation. I have no idea if this is the case, but that's me just watching and just trying to reverse engineer what's going on. And you get the feeling that it's a bunch of first time directors, first time kind of animators just doing a good story, and they get a shot to DC to do a big project. And they just get them like four side characters because all of these super four relatively obscure DC characters at play here now. And it's kind of strange that they decide to go with that material instead of more popular material. Like, why not do a flash short or something like that, right? It's kind of weird. Speaking of DC, there's just a new Justice League released the other day, so we get to see the new Future Justice League, and it's actually pretty cool looking.
okay.
Yeah, so but they didn't reveal who the new Batman is yet. Like we don't know who it is. This is face completely obscured, and we don't know who the new Flash is yet. And that person's face is the new obscured. But the new Green Lantern is the fast sector Green Lantern girl. The new Wonder Woman is a new girl too, and then the Superman is Clark's son, Jonathan Kent. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and then who was the last person? Slip him. Oh, Aquagil. Well, it's who Aquagil is, right? Is we see Aqua, but a different version of Aquagil. But it's basically Aquaman daughter. It's the same character.
All right,
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is one of those great test kitchen looking things. Like out of all of this, like one thing gonna be a really big hit, and then they're gonna take that and they're gonna be the next big thing for the next 5 to 10 years, maybe. Like just watch out for it because I'm actually really impressed with what I see in there.
Mm.
The new Future Justice League, thing coming out. I forget what they call them exactly, but it's Future Justice League. But
All right.
it's not the Justice League from like it's not Justice League
It's
Beyond.
not a traditional one that we grew up on.
No. Well, it's not Justice League Beyond. So it's like kind of in between the Justice League we know and the Justice League from Justice League Beyond, because it's not Clark Kent, it's his son, which is interesting. They make a bunch of like interesting choices with who the Justice League is. But in terms of the art style and character design, it's excellent, like truly fantastic stuff. So I just wanted to sprinkle in my DC nerdness for 2 seconds for that.
Yeah,
Just to
fine.
just,
Well,
just to
I
tell
mean, this is why I have this little section here because I know
right,
a lot of DC stuff. That's why I wanted you
right.
to watch the film to begin with. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I was surprisingly not too excited for it because I really thought it was gonna be just like Red Hood all over again, but with not much added to it. That's why I was kind of worried. But this was enough extra material and meat for me to be like happy with it. I was mostly fine with it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I actually liked it a lot.
all
Mostly
right,
because
nice. Hmm.
Yeah, and mostly because it reminded me of an amazing film called Under the Red Hood. It's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So definitely found it great.
Which is fine, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so I enjoy it for what it is. As I say, it's great. Watch out for. Well, it's called Justice League Future State. That's the name. The
Okay.
Future State.
Future state. All right.
Yeah, DC Future State, and it actually I love these character designs. That's all I'll say. I love all the character designs. There's Jonathan Kent, the new Batman. We don't know who he looks like. Wonder Woman is Yara Flor. Um, Green Lantern is Joe Malian or Malene, however she name is. Aquaman, the new Flash. We don't know who that person is. We don't know what they look like, but the character design is excellent. Um, I just like in the designs of these characters. That's all I'll say. But they're clearly doing a Justice League, Young Justice kind of vibe, or something similar to Young Avengers, I should say, where they just take a bunch of young characters, they're gonna test kitchen them, and then whoever is a big star out of that, they're gonna make that, and they're gonna be the movies and the cartoons, and you're gonna see a movie. Like hopefully, like listen, they should. I straight up saying it in like about 2 or 3 years, we're gonna see a future state like animated movie. Hopefully, right? I hopefully will see that. However,
I'd love to see it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, looking awesome. Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, that was it. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. Fine.
Cool.